So we are going live on YouTube.
Now
we're live on YouTube
and Facebook simultaneously. And you've already got a watcher?
Apparently.
How does this happen? Where are my 12,000 people?
So, hey, welcome everybody to YouTube Live, Flashback Comics Top 5 video. My co-host today is my very good friend, Kevin Goswan.
Hello! And hello again, and welcome to the Comics Online's weekly team-up. We team up Flash and the Fantastic Four with, see, look, you popped up on my screen.
Wow.
We team up like apples and oranges to give you fruit. I don't know where I'm going with this, but the important thing is we talk comics every week. I talk about my top 5 most anticipated comics of each week. Troy talks about his top 5 comics that you might have missed out on that you should probably check out.
Right now, I'm enjoying Marvel 2-in-1 Annual. This is Annual number 4, featuring The Thing and Black Bolt. We are facing off against Graviton. You may remember Graviton from Avengers 158 and 159. He is Brobdingnagian in scale here. He has upsized tremendously.
Now, didn't Graviton used to look differently than this fiery version?
And Dr. Frank Hall would go back to looking like his normal self again, but right now he is infused with matter and his gravity powers are well out of control. Fortunately, Ben Grimm is teamed up with the incredibly powerful Black Bolt. You might have caught my video earlier where I talked about Black Bolt and his powers and his incredible power level. If you didn't, go check that out when you're done here. I'm just going to slip this back in the bag and board and make it available for everybody. You can consider this Marvel 2-in-1 Annual number 4 my +1. I will be getting to my other 5 in just a minute.
Toward the end of this episode, Troy, we're going to have an interview with Black Bolt himself. It's dangerous to do that.
Extremely.
So just hold on and appreciate that when it comes. But so are we starting out with your stuff?
Let's start out with my stuff.
Let's do it.
Thanks for joining, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to all of my friends. And I'm going to start with, now this is the 8th issue of the Kamandi Challenge from DC Comics. What is the Kamandi Challenge? Well, in celebration of what was Jack Kirby's 100th birthday last month, this has been a limited series, which is each chapter begun by a creative team that leaves Kamandi in a precarious position to be resolved by the succeeding creative team.
I remember hearing about that. It might have been on this show.
It might have been. So at this point, this issue is written by Keith Giffen and illustrated by Steve Rude. Steve is also known as the Dude Rude. You might remember Steve Rude from Nexus, from Capital and later First Comics.
I'm liking this art.
The Giffen and Rude team is very good together. I like their collaboration. They must have an incredible energy between the two of them. In any event, Kamandi is a character created in the Bronze Age by Jack Kirby for DC Comics. And so Kamandi is living in this post-apocalyptic world. Jack Kirby's vision was Planet of the Apes taken to the next level. So not only are apes intelligent, but there are other intelligent anthropomorphic animal tribes, whole tribes of them. Tiger men, dog men, cat people, bird people, you name it. And intelligent humans are, much like in Planet of the Apes, very much the endangered species. This young man, Tommy, has stumbled out of Bunker Command D, hence the name Kamandi. And adventures across this wasteland, encountering one tribe of savage animals after another.
And look what happens next month. We've got Kevin Eastman and who is this? Freddie Williams are gonna team up next month on this. This is fun. Have you read all these today?
I have. I've read this one.
What's your favorite team up so far? So far, you've got a favorite.
I think maybe the Bill Willingham written one.
Ooh,
but
all right.
Yeah, they're all really good. And again, each team leaves precariously, and the new team must come up with a story that resolves that. But within each issue, in the back matter, the extant creative team talks about what they would have done if it were their story to conclude.
That's fun. I think that we should have more comics like this. Good job, DC. So what else is going on?
Well, now my next, my number 2 this week is
Troy, what time is it? Troy, what time is it?
It's Morphin' time!
Yeah, it is. It's Morphin' time all the time.
Yes, indeed. So from Boom Studios, this is a companion title, if you will. You might have been reading the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And that is written by Kyle Higgins. This is a completely different creative team. Go Power Rangers. It is, however, still our original characters brought together in Angel Grove with the Zords, Zordon, Alpha 5. So it's like continuity from the original series. Now, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers at this point includes the Green Ranger. The Green Ranger is not included here yet. It's the main 5 characters, and Rita, Bulk, Skull, Angel Grove, etc. So it's a situation, characters, environment that you're very, very familiar with. I'm very much enjoying this. It is like an extension of the show. It's not quite so, say, edgy as the feature film, but
lighthearted still.
Yeah, it is still lighthearted.
Cool.
And again, I'm enjoying Go Power Rangers. Boom Studios. Good
Right
job.
on. Okay, what's next?
Next up.
Oh, you know who loves Valiant? Troy.
This guy.
Troy loves
Valiant
Valiant.
comics are excellent comics. They are fantastic comics. You can tell everybody I said so. This is my favorite Valiant series right now, Exo Man of War.
Oh, wow. Who's doing this art?
Oh, my God. It is amazing.
Braithwaite?
So you got Matt Kind and Dave Braithwaite and
Doug.
Doug Braithwaite and Diego Rodriguez.
Nice.
This stuff is fantastic. You have the titular character, Eric, the Visigoth warrior. Eric is on an alien planet where he has tried to put the violence of the Exo life behind him and become a simple farmer. He is, however, conscripted into an army, and that army is put into battle against an opposing kingdom. I don't want to spoil too much more than that, but that's where we are. Eric spends the first 5 issues not wearing the battle armor, but his experience as a warrior and as Exo very much comes into play in his favor. The Exo series is absolutely gorgeous.
Spoilers, he gets on the armor and then he's going to go fight a really big font. I don't know what's going on there.
So, 6 issues we are up to this point in time. If you have not checked out Exo, if you're not checking out anything from Valiant, you really need to. Valiant comics are excellent comics, and that is the truth. Exo is my personal favorite. I won't say it's the best thing that they do, but I think it's the best thing that they do.
All right, so Image Comics, Troy.
Image Comics, here we go.
Crosswind, this is the 3rd issue of Crosswind.
This is the 3rd issue of Crosswind. Gail Simone is the writer. What do we have going on here? Well, we have a young woman named Juniper. She is a stepmom. She's married. She's a suburban mom, and her life is not a great life. And then we have Kaysen, who is a hitman, a professional hitman. What happens? At the end of the 1st issue, Kaysen and Juniper's minds are switched. They wake up and they are in each other's body. Now, Juniper is trying to navigate the body, the life of this hitman and try to figure out the situation that she's in.
Oh, yeah. I remember you pointing this out before, now that you mention it.
Yeah, and it's good. So Kaysen is navigating the life of Juniper. He is a man trapped in a woman's body, but acclimating to that and straightening out the places where Juniper's life had gotten out of her control. Very character-driven, very character story-driven. If you haven't checked this out, you should do so.
I would say, Troy, that there are worse places to be trapped, but then there's, then we're living in a world that's...
So, Crosswind up to issue 3 from Image Comics, and that brings me to my 5th and final piece for the top 5. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, Black Panther number 17. Black Panther number 17 reunites, not into matrimony, mind you, but reunites the team of Black Panther and Storm. Now, Ta-Nehisi Coates has been doing this sort of resolution and building. He has been taking us back to Wakanda, having the Black Panther king in Wakanda, and having to deal with the ramifications of having let a lot of things get out of his control. So at this point, what's happening involves the mythologies and religions of Wakanda and Storm's involvement here, her sort of re-involvement with the people of Wakanda and how they look at her. Remember that when Storm was married to the Black Panther, she was viewed as an outsider. But with all of the trials and tribulations that the Wakandans have gone through, people have begun to take a different opinion of Storm. And we might see the resolution, the getting back together of T'Challa and Aurora. I would very, very much like that. However, that hasn't actually happened yet, but they are still very close and still very friendly with each other. I also recommend that you back up and pick up the World of Wakanda limited series. I recommend that you back up and pick up the Black Panther and the Crew limited series, the 6th issue just finished, and that you keep right on with this Black Panther, Ta-Nehisi Coates, Chris Sprouse. It's excellent stuff.
So Troy.
So Kevin, what do we got?
So my top 5, these are, as I say, these are the top 5 comics that I am particularly interested in for this week. These are my most anticipated. The Walking Dead number 171, Fear the Princess.
Wow.
I don't know who the princess is, but it seems like an odd choice for a new big bad. Maybe it's a little bit tongue in cheek.
I make fun of Kevin for falling behind in his reading, but in fact, it's probably only going to take Kevin about a week to get caught up to The Walking Dead, because no matter what else, he stays current.
I'm always caught up on Walking Dead.
Right.
Once in a while, I'll forget and I'll read 2 in a row, but that's as far behind as I'll ever
That doesn't
get.
happen often. Usually
really
within
doesn't.
a week, he's ready to talk about The Walking Dead.
Oh, look, there she is. There's the princess. She says sup. Anyway, Walking Dead has been my favorite comic ongoing for some time now. Robert Kirkman doing a killer job. Charlie Adlard and his now inker. Originally, it was Charlie Adlard doing the whole art, but then they weren't able to do 12 issues or more, and now they're doing or more. They're doing like 14 issues a year, which is thank you very much.
So, interestingly enough, in the pages of the Image Previews Plus, the supplemental magazine that comes with previews, is an interview with Robert Kirkman and an interview with Charlie Adlard. So, if you have not actually checked out the Image Plus Preview magazine, I recommend that you do so. There's material in it that you'll be interested in. Also, look for the backup feature, which is Witches by Scott Snyder. You might remember the series, and the series, the story came to an end. It went on hiatus. Well, Scott Snyder is back with new stories in The Witches, and it is in the Image Previews Plus.
Cool. That previous. I want a collected version of that, and honestly, I wish I had waited on the collected version of that Previews Plus. Because
but if you didn't wait, you stayed caught up.
That's just true. But I want a collected version. Is it coming out? Has it been announced?
There is a collected version, yes, for the Here's Negan story.
That's the one I want.
You're going to have to wait a little longer for Bad Blood.
Whatever.
Yeah, you are.
Hey, guess what's good? Jessica Jones. The original Alias. Before there was that J.J. Abrams Alias, there was Alias. Jessica Jones' debut book back in the day. And like I say, always when I do this, Brian Michael Bendis and Michael Gaydos are back again, the original creative team, and just killing it. This is, pay attention to this, parental advisory, explicit lyrics.
Yeah. Yeah. Jessica Jones has always been a mature themes book. Now, while Jessica appears in the pages of the Avengers or the New Avengers or the Mighty Avengers or wherever she shows up, those are not mature titles. But the pages of her own book, typically they are.
See, look at this. She and Luke Cage are making up because, there they are, married, making up, giving kisses. I'm the GD Wonder Woman. Come on.
There you go.
I love her.
There you go.
She's the best. Anyway, so this is number 12. If you're not caught up, catch up.
Catch up.
Come into Flashback, and Troy will get you the trade.
Yeah, indeed.
Or maybe even the issues. Do you have the issues?
I have several of the individual issues. Now, some of the earliest ones were strong sellouts from the beginning. There are, in fact, trade compilations and also trade collections of the original Alias series. So if you missed out on the original Marvel Max Alias series, you can pick those up in compiled form. I believe it's 4 volumes in total.
The inexpensive soft covers. Do you have the hard covers anymore? Or are those not in print currently?
I think they're only in soft cover at the moment.
All right. Anyway, they're inexpensive this way.
Yeah.
So, hey, you know what else is good? Spider-Man. This is Miles Morales Spider-Man. This is number 20 that we're on right now.
As opposed to the Amazing Spider-Man, which is amazing with his Peter Parker.
Yeah.
But the Miles Morales stuff, yeah, very, very good these days.
Good stuff. Now, Miles Morales follows, or that is to say, Spider-Man follows Miles Morales and his friends from school, Genki and Goldballs. Yes, that's his X-Men name, Goldballs.
Yep.
Fabio, and and it goes through his trials and tribulations and his relationship or not with what's her name, Spider-Gwen.
That particular storyline is done, but what we are exploring are his relationship with his mother. His mother knows his secret identity now, and his father. His father knew, his mother has recently learned. So, very recently, Miles ran across, cross paths, cross swords, cross fists with Hammerhead, the steel-reinforced gangster of New York. Miles made a good acquitting for himself. You know, definitely a solid accounting in that fight, but Hammerhead got the one-up on this one.
What we've been learning in some of the Spider books, I believe it's this one, is hey, so this is Miles Morales is from Ultimate Universe.
Yes.
But and the Ultimate Universe has been combined with 616 Marvel. But where was the original Miles Morales from 616? Well, that's what we've been finding out lately, and it's been a bit of a problem for our protagonist.
Yes, indeed. Also, be sure to check out the series, the limited series. I believe it's a 5-issue limited series, Spider-Men 2.
Is that the one where they're doing it? Yeah, that's the one where they're doing it. Anyway, read them both.
All the Spider books.
Almost all the Spider books. Some of them are like, yeah.
Don't pay attention to Kevin. Not all the Spider books.
You should check them all out.
Yes.
You will continue with the ones that I like because they're the best ones. All right. You know what else is good, Troy? I love the idea of some of the DC things that I like best are JSA because of the generational aspect. Well, Marvel has latched onto this idea recently, which thank you, Marvel, for really doing a great job with this. And they've got this Generations series, and each one is a number one, of course, because they're each different. And this is Iron Man and Ironheart. So we've got Tony Stark from back in the day and Riri Williams from the present, in the Marvel Universe present. And this is given to us by the creative team of Bendis, Rudy, Kudransky, and Leon. And let me give you some of the art on this.
Oh yeah,
this is good art.
That's a good one. It's beautiful. All of the Generation stories up to this point, the strongest involved the two Hulks, both Bruce Banner and Amadeus Cho. We had the Archers, which once again reunited Hawkeye and Kate Bishop. We have done the Thunders, which has reunited Jane Foster Thor and Thor Odinson, the unworthy Thor, if you will. But at the time, he was worthy. At the time, the earlier incarnations of these characters are in their classic forms. The newer characters have traveled back in time to connect with them. Oh, also the Phoenix. I didn't want to skip the Jean Greys. So you have seen some of these characters meet their mentors, if you will, their early incarnation, but this is a completely different context. Now, the Generations one-shots will lead us to the Marvel Legacy, and the Marvel Legacy will then launch through the other titles into the new Legacy renumbering titles.
I'm excited. Look at this. Look at this. Incredible. This is not a spoiler here. Invincible Iron Man 593.
593.
We're going back to proper numbering.
To legacy numbering.
Legacy numbering.
Legacy
exactly,
numbering.
because this is a legacy book now, and I'm excited about that. And naturally, we're going to have, we're still going to have Riri Williams.
Yes.
My guess is she'll probably get a number one because, Troy, is that true?
Not that I have seen. I have been looking at solicitation sheets, and it looks like the Invincible Iron Man is going to its legacy numbering. I'm not seeing a number one for that one.
So you don't think she's going to split off into her own book eventually?
Not that I've seen. Now, eventually, that is entirely possible, but
sounds likely
not within the next couple of months.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. So my fifth pick for this week is from Image Comics, Kingsman: The Red Diamond.
Yes, indeed.
To go along with the Kingsman, the Golden Circle, the Kingsman 2, if you will. By the way, friends of mine, my personal friends of mine, will see, at Comic-Con, I went and met all the actors from Kingsman. And got selfies with them, and it was super awesome. I can't publish it on Comics Online. I'm sorry, it was this weird thing, but hey, it was pretty awesome, and big thanks to those people who put that together. But it was super awesome. They were all these guys were there.
Yeah, Kev's got the black and white variant, the more sketchy. I don't know if that's actually an official sketch variant, but I'll call it the sketchy variant.
Yeah, this is the Frank Quitely cover here, or Frank Quitely.
Quitely's art is gorgeous art.
And this is not the Frank Quitely art of New X-Men.
No.
Which is good, because that was like it was like exaggerated and cartoony, and this is trying to be very true to life, sorta. If you follow me, this is trying to represent the actors that are in the series, and I think he's doing a great job here. This is going to be fun. I like, for example, I like the Black Widow series while that was still going on, and I like what's it called, the Nick Fury series, the current Nick Fury series. If you haven't checked that out, and I haven't featured it for some reason, I don't know why.
Yeah,
but it's good.
It is good.
It's good. It's worth reading. Each one is kind of like a mini Bond style story. And anyway,
it's good. It's a lot of fun. I strenuously recommend it, and I am also picking up the Kingsman. So after I've had a chance to read it, I'm going to tell you what I thought after I've read it.
And how we have a +1 often. This is a -1. Trump's Titans. This is are you flipping kidding me? It's a superhero. Oh my goodness.
Well, so I would like to point out that this is nothing new in comics. In the 1980s, we had Reagan's Raiders and Daffy Gaddafi. In the 2000s, we had Barack the Barbarian, and eventually Barack the Barbarian spun off Red Sarah. You could see where that was going. So comics have never stayed completely out of politics, going all the way back to 1941 when Captain America punched Adolf Hitler in the face on the cover of his very first appearance.
Oh, wow.
We weren't even at war with them
yet. It seems that they may be making fun of this group, but I'm not sure. I mean, it's kind of like Lil Bush or something like that. You remember Lil Bush? That was fun.
Right. So before we judge it harshly, we're going to read it, and then we're going to tell you what we think about it after we read it.
It says parody right on the cover, so maybe it's fun.
It does.
Anyway, so like I say, here's that video with us interviewing Black. I'm kidding, we're not doing, but we will. We will. It's coming soon to the Comics Online YouTube. That is to say, the Geek Pop Culture Network on YouTube. That's our channel on YouTube that we use, and it's combined with Comics Online with some other people. We're gonna have to have some of the flashback stuff posted over there soon.
And I have also
Again.
Now today I was supposed to be working, but I took a few minutes to goof off and put you up a YouTube live video, a little spotlight on Black Bolt on the Facebook page in celebration of the Inhuman series upcoming. And I misspoke earlier, incidentally, when I said Netflix. I meant to say ABC. Kevin caught me, pointed that out. That was my slip of the tongue, my bad. I'm so embarrassed. My face would turn red, except melanin. So, but I am on the Flashback Facebook page going to be putting up informational tidbits about the other members of the royal family.
Good.
I already did a shot on Crystal.
Crystal, that was good. I like that. Did you write that whole thing yourself, or did you copy-paste that?
I did a little bit of both. I had to do a little bit of both. There was a lot of information to convey, and
that was a lot.
It was.
And it was good. Read it. Flashback Comics on the Facebook. Check it out. If you haven't already, please, my Comics Online fans, add them. Troy puts out a lot of good stuff. It's worth checking out.
I think I'm going to go ahead and tell you now. I think the next one to go up on the Facebook page will probably be about Karnak, mostly because Karnak had that Warren Ellis series that was so good.
Yeah.
Oh my God. When you
after that, so here's my thing, Troy.
Okay.
After that awesome series of Karnak, and after many incarnations of Inhumans where Karnak is just super badass. I saw the Inhumans at the theater. The first 2 episodes of the upcoming show, and as you did, and I was like, but why is Karnak sucking? Like they had one thing where he was figuring stuff out, and he figured out, oh, I shouldn't do it this way, I should do it that way, because this way will lead to success. And yet.
Well, and it did lead to success, and he was eventually able to escape, and he found himself on Earth, and then he hit his head, and that head injury, this is what's going to keep the
Karnak is going to fall. Really? This is Karnak.
It could happen to anybody. He had to climb down a mountain. It could happen to anybody. So, but what this does is it takes the character and it keeps him from seeming invincible and seeming unbeatable, and you wouldn't care. If Karnak could never be beaten, you wouldn't care.
Here's how they screwed up, Troy. According to Kevin, who should write for Marvel, clearly. Well, you should write for Marvel even more than I should. But on this, you will agree, I believe. So in the Inhumans that we saw over the weekend, we see that this version of Maximus is a human. He doesn't have his powers.
Well,
but
let me just interject
as far as we know,
put a pin in that. As far as we know, because Maximus has always been very manipulative, not very transparent, and at this point, if in fact he is, well, evil, and usurping his brother's royalty, which he has done, it is entirely possible that Maximus does have powers, and he's just kept it a secret from everybody. His powers are the powers of mind control, very subtle powers. It would be possible for him all along to have been using his mind control to sway the populace to him, not just convincing them through charisma.
And I really hope that that's the case. And the thing is, I was hoping that would have been the device to go and say and to mess up Karnak, so that Karnak figured something out, and then Maximus said, nope, you just unfigured it out. Because that's his power, to erase little bits of memory and thought. That I kind of feel like that would have been a good device, but maybe it doesn't. It doesn't fit with where they're going.
Certainly later, when we do our longer discussion, I'll cover why exactly that won't work.
All right.
But yeah,
that's a good teaser, Troy.
Yeah. For those of you who didn't already know from the earlier videos, Maximus the Mad, the royal family, they all make their earliest appearances in the Stan Lee, Jack Kirby Fantastic Fours. You definitely want to have Fantastic Four 36. You want to have Fantastic Four 42 through 40. Well, really from 42 just onwards.
Is there a Marvel Masterworks that covers this? It seems like there should be.
There is.
Good.
The trade paperback compilation, it's a big epic collection. It's the Inhumans, the Origins, and it shows the first appearance of Medusa, the earliest Frightful Four appearances, and then the first appearance of Gorgon, who's pursuing Medusa. Medusa recovering her memory, the first appearance of Triton, Karnak, and Lockjaw, and then in number 46, the first appearance of my man, Black Bolt. Yes, Fantastic Four 46, January 1966.
So Lockjaw, Troy. Did you love the Lockjaw? Because
yes,
I love the Lockjaw. I love
did.
the crystal too. The spray painting the hair rather than having a cloth around the hair was a little bit odd, and like, what? Why did you do that?
Because she is a somewhat turbulent teenager. Remember that Crystal, maturely speaking, is about the same age as Johnny Storm.
Right.
So
he was a turbulent teenager.
He was, and her maturity level won't be any more developed than his. Remember, too, that this is a girl that has grown with us over the decades of publishing, but in compressed time. She goes from Johnny Storm to Quicksilver, from Quicksilver into a marriage, and that marriage ends with her infidelity and her fleeing her responsibilities and being forced to come back and take her role in the family, ultimately becoming part of a political marriage to Ronan the Accuser. I could go on. I won't. I've already got a bad connection, so.
Once we publish this, it should be in better resolution. So for those of you who are watching live, we apologize. Anyway, check out Comics Online. We've got a ton of stuff more, a ton more interviews and everything for from Comic-Con and a few other conventions that have been happening. I mean, Dragon Con was this past weekend, and MagFest Laboratories, Mag Labs was this past weekend. We've got a lot of stuff coming up, so stay tuned.
Yes, indeed. So once again, thank you for joining us all here on our YouTube Live, for checking out our Facebook Live, and my good friend Kevin Goswan of ComicsOnline.com for everything geek pop culture.
So for Troy and Nick wherever he went, and Mark and Coraline who's maybe sleeping, and for everything geek pop culture, I'm Kevin Goswan, and this is Comics Online. Bitches.
Sure want to stop streaming and